Something remarkable just happened in the war between Ukraine and Russia. In a stunning sequence of operations, 3 separate Ukrainian military units landed devastating blows against Russian forces, all within a short time frame. It wasn't just one lucky strike, it was a coordinated triple offensive that's now being hailed as one of Ukraine's boldest countermoves in recent months. But just when it seemed like things were going Russia's way, Ukraine struck back hard. These weren't just symbolic wins, they were battlefield victories with tactical, logistical, and strategic consequences. First strike, retaking Nadiia. The first blow came in the Luhansk region, part of the Donbas, a region Putin has long targeted due to its critical infrastructure, mining resources, and industrial importance. At the heart of this fight was a small village called Nadiia, which had become a frontline objective for Russian forces throughout early 2025. After weeks of brutal fighting, Russia managed to capture Nadiia, but their gains were short-lived. According to official communications from Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade, Ukrainian forces have now liberated Nadiia in what they're calling a major offensive victory. In their words, the capture of Nadiia cost the enemy 2 months of effort, during which 2 Russian mechanized regiments, the 752nd and 254th, were completely wiped out. These weren't just any regiments, they belonged to the 20th Russian Army, one of the Kremlin's most seasoned divisions. Ukraine's strategy here was clear and ruthless. The assault began with intense artillery bombardment, likely involving MLRS systems such as HIMARS. These rocket launchers can rain down dozens of precision-guided missiles in seconds, overwhelming Russian trenches, bunkers, and vehicle convoys. Following the artillery strikes, Ukraine rolled in with a combined arms attack. This included Soviet-era BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles, Western-supplied M113s and M577s, and main battle tanks. The BMPs offered mobile firepower, while the M113s carried troops and weapons across open terrain. The M577, with its extended command module, likely served as the mobile coordination hub, directing units, drones, and targeting data in real time. Perhaps most critically, many of these vehicles were outfitted with electronic warfare antennas, helping to jam or counter incoming Russian drones, a key threat in today's battlefield. With this layered assault, Ukraine overwhelmed the defenders and retook Nadiia, territory that Russia spent months and countless resources trying to hold. Second strike, destroying troops in Toretsk. As Ukrainian armor was liberating Nadiia, Ukraine's Air Force was delivering a second hammer blow, this time in the strategically critical city of Toretsk. Toretsk, home to around 30,000 people, is not only a coal-rich industrial hub, but it also sits on elevated terrain, making it a potential launch pad for future Russian offensives deeper into Ukraine. Losing it would compromise supply routes and force Ukraine to retreat from nearby contested areas. That's why Ukraine acted swiftly. On March 21st, Ukrainian air forces launched a precision strike on a Russian-occupied position within the city, completely destroying 2 entrenched units, the 1st Separate Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade and the 103rd Motorized Rifle Regiment. These units weren't just standard infantry. The 1st Guards Brigade had a fearsome reputation. Originally part of the Donetsk People's Republic separatist forces, it was formally absorbed into the Russian military in 2023 and had been responsible for key offensives across Donetsk and Luhansk. Ukraine's strike leveled their shelter, an enrichment facility located in Toretsk's central mine. Drone footage from the strike shows a massive explosion at the facility, which had been retrofitted to protect high-value Russian personnel, including drone teams and airborne assault troops. This wasn't just a victory on the battlefield, it was a huge intelligence and coordination success. Russia lost 2 regiments, a hardened shelter, and their staging area near the city of Bakhmut. It makes future Russian offensives in the area far more difficult and halts what had been a slow crawl forward. Third strike, destroying armored column in Pokrovsk. And then came strike number 3, perhaps the most cinematic of them all. In the nearby city of Pokrovsk, yet another critical logistics hub, Russia launched an armored push aimed at disrupting Ukrainian supply lines and expanding its hold on the Donbas. Pokrovsk's rail connections, steel industry, and coal mines make it a valuable prize. And according to Russian media, they were aiming to capture it as a gateway to Donetsk. But Ukraine was ready. The 117th Separate Mechanized Brigade, a recently formed but battle-hardened unit, spotted an advancing Russian armored column using reconnaissance drones. Instead of attacking right away, they watched and waited, monitoring the vehicles until they reached a vulnerable point on a rural road near a forested area. And then came the strike. FPV, first-person view drones, loitering munitions loaded with explosives, swooped in. Despite Russia's use of anti-drone netting and armor plating, the Ukrainian drones punched through. Explosions lit up the convoy. One by one, the armored personnel carriers, APCs, were destroyed. What was once a powerful assault group quickly turned into burning wrecks, stranded on the roadside with no chance of recovery. The attack was a tactical masterclass, combining surveillance, coordination, and timing, and it's another serious blow to Russia's already stretched armored capabilities in Donbas. Why this triple tap matters. Taken together, these three offensives mark more than just victories. They demonstrate that Ukraine is no longer just defending, it's actively reclaiming ground. These wins also deliver psychological damage to Russian troops and disrupt logistical networks Russia relies on. The recapture of Nadiia breaks Russia's assumption that its territorial gains in Luhansk are permanent. The strike in Toretsk removes elite Russian troops from a key battlefield and eliminates a Russian command center. And the Pokrovsk ambush cuts off a vital artery Russia needs to advance westward. Putin has spent years trying to turn the Donbas into a fortress of Russian control. Now, that foundation is cracking under the weight of Ukraine's evolving battlefield tactics and new Western-supplied tools. So where does that leave us? Ukraine's triple tap not only pushes Russia back, it shows the world that Putin's momentum can be stopped, reversed, and shattered. 3 different units, 3 different battlefields, one message: Ukraine is still in this fight. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more in-depth coverage of the war and the world's changing battle lines.